The record, well, you know, it's very difficult for me to be objective about something like the record. People tell me, and these are people whose opinions I trust, that it's a very strong record from us. There's quite a large dollop of urban shamanism in it, I would imagine. If I'm trying to think of a way of putting it in a soundbite world, how would you put an album that took 2.5 years to put together into a couple of little sound bites, so you could put it, you know, tweet that. It's lyrically, it's very urban. Ian wrote a lot of the lyrics in New York. The album was recorded in California, in the desert in California, and a little bit in Manhattan. And so it has a lot of those elements in terms of the physical placement, and I think the mindset of the musicians when we did it, you know. There's a bit of all of that in there, you know. It's really not... It's, you know, you'd have to talk to Ian about the actual depth of the content of the lyrics, but it's certainly quite a rock record for those of us like myself who like a bit of guitar riffage. It's a pretty ballsy record, which is nice. Creative influences, I would imagine the same stuff that's always inspired us would be the legends, you know. I would imagine the Doors, Janis Joplin for Ian, Jimi Hendrix, the Sex Pistols. I mean, the DNA of the Cult, all that is in the Cult's DNA. We're just fans, you know, we're just passing it on a little bit. And we're kind of we're just fans who kind of learnt to play. Fans of punk who really enjoy good rock music. And, you know, I think one of the things about the Cult is it's very much like... kind of a heart and soul kind of band. You know, Ian's a very passionate guy, very much wears his heart on his sleeve, and you know, he makes it very easy to make records that have some depth to them, you know, because of his nature, you know. That's why I like working with him. You know, that kind of question, big moments in my career, it's really hard, you know, to pick anything out really off the top of my head that doesn't sound like a cliche. There's been a lot. I would imagine little things, like I'll give you what comes to my head today in the middle of the day before lunch. Watching David Bowie dance on the side of the stage to us while 80,000 French people are watching us at a gig, and who actually weren't really liking us. That was what was funny. I remember that one, watching that. It was a great moment when the audience didn't get us and David Bowie did, which made me very happy. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of highs. You know, I think we've been a band who might not have had any kind of Grammy recognition, but I think in terms of the music business, we're kind of an underground band we call the Cult. I believe that the band has influenced a lot of other bands. I would imagine most musicians have had one of our records in their collection, and that to me is more of a high point. In the same way as I've owned classic albums from the ages, I think that you'll find the Cult's definitely been well listened to by a lot of people who've gone on to make their own great music. So that's, to me, the biggest, you know, high point, rather than any kind of what sort of industry recognition. You know what I mean? We're kind of underground, you know. We're like the black sheep. It's the same advice that my old good friend Johnny Marr told me that I told him, which was to always have one really good pair of sunglasses, 2 girlfriends, and a great haircut. That's all you need to know. Hi, I'm Billy Duffy from The Cult, and I am with you at the Grammys from South by Southwest.